Hey guys, welcome to a special episode that I wanted to try to elucidate a little bit further and get the information out there to you guys in the event that you find yourself where you need to try to save your mast and not scrap it and have to go through a whole new mast, right? This is better for the environment. It's cheaper for the boat owner. It's something that I just want to bring awareness to in this thing that I title Save-A-Mast, right? The Save-A-Mast program. It's a small, simple process that can be done at the yacht rigger in the fabrication shop, and it can save your mast in the event that you're having corrosion at the mast base. So let's see what Brian has to say about that and get into it.
Oftentimes on some older boats that were produced or made around the 70s, 80s, and some into the 90s, they used some dissimilar metals down in the bilge. They didn't know they were doing wrong things. They didn't have any ill intent, but the stainless steel would corrode the bottom of the mast. So this is a good example of that. And if you see how eaten away all of this metal is and how what is still there is crumbling and breaking off, there is a lot of compression loads on the bottom of a mast right here with all the cables pressing down, pulling down. So the idea is that this was probably past due for needing to be done, probably should have been done a little while ago. But now that we see it, we can't not fix it. So what we're doing is we found where there was still flat marks down here to show where the original mast section was. We measured up from there. We measured up until we got to the good thickness to know exactly where the metal was still good and uncompromised from corrosion. Once we figured out what that measurement was, which in this case happened to be 3 inches, then we take a pipe wrap here and wrap that, mark that to make sure that that's a square cut. Remove this, take all the wires and push them up in there, and then go ahead and make your cut. After you've made your cut, you deburr all that. Now this could be done just about anywhere, so if there was another rigger or a customer that was good at cutting metal, they could dress the end of the mast, but then what do you do about the lost height? Because you don't want to have your mast be shorter. It was originally designed to be a certain height, and we'd like to keep it that certain height. So after we cut off this section and get the base of the mast cleaned up and ready for a new fitting, then we go into the shop. And when we go into the shop, I found another mast section of similar measurements, and I went ahead and I made an extension that was the same height to get this surface here to be the same height as what this surface used to be. And so I take this, and that's how it's going to fit on the bottom of this, and then raise the mast back up to make up for the lost section here. So in other words, someone else could cut this off anywhere in the world and send it to me, and I can take this measurement plus the measurement of how thick the base plate was on the original step, and then make something like this and ship it out to them so that they can then put their boat back together without having to scrap the whole mast because of the bottom 3 inches. With the old mast step where it was, before you remove the old mast step, what you would do is you would look down into the bilge, and where the front and the back leading edge of the mast are, you draw straight lines going out from there, and then from the edge going forward this way. So you're basically drawing a graph pattern so that you can know where the mast was when you go to put the new one back in. Because this base plate is not the same shape as the old one, and I did that on purpose to go to new places to put new holes for the fasteners. And so I'm actually, if anyone was going to send me this and have me make it, I would need a little bit more information. I would need pictures of the bilge to make sure that if it's up against a wall, I can't go that way, that kind of thing. But other than that, what we're trying to do is recreate the exact same placement, but just bring it back up to the same height. So as Seth just talked about there, if this is here, and if you wanted to come up to the top of that, you can see that the edge of the broken off section, or the cut off section, is halfway down the thickness of that bottom plate, because the original bottom plate was half the thickness of this plate. So I went up in thickness because I went to aluminum versus stainless steel, because I wanted to not reintroduce the dissimilar metals back into the bilge. And so I went with all aluminum, which means that you have to go up in thickness to create the same kind of strength. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to let us know.
If there's any questions that you have, you can hit the link below and get in contact directly with the yacht rigger and get that project going if that is a need that you have, so that you don't have to go and buy an entire new mast and use more resources from the planet and shipping and all these kind of things. I mean, especially when you're talking about something as involved and expensive as a mast, don't let the last 3 inches or foot or what have you of corrosion scrap all 50, 60, 70 feet of your mast. So please do reach out to them. Thank you for your time and attention in watching this. Check out all of our other content that we have on the On Deck channel, because we have lots out there for you guys in the sailing world, all you cruisers, racers, and those alike. Thank you so much for your time. Sailor Smurf out.